Hall C, right? As far as the most. Now, what type of, what are the alternative security types that you can have? So you have contractual, right? So is contractual could make it for C, but where do you really need in C? You need law enforcement, okay? You need chain law enforcement, and, you know, it's very simple to go and get duty, law enforcement, armed police. Banks do it in, like on certain days of the week, they have extra, because of, how much they have in the till a certain night of the week, whatever. They'll have extra security, etc. And so yeah, I would definitely have trained. So either I would have Brinks on a contract, okay, but I also have local police because they have more authority. They can act on behalf of the community where Brinks can only act on protecting the money. Police can engage people on anything. So you have Brinks contracted to do to give you the equipment, to lend lease the equipment to you, and to empty it every hour, whatever, to keep it from piling up to being a big sweepstakes. And then I would have what do you call it? And to say how many, I'm really not worried about the how many, because you really would have to have a site map to see what the flows are going to be, what the flows of people are going to be when and where are the physical places where you want to have positioning, posting, if you will. Okay, all right, so we have those are all the risk factors. And then resources. Okay, so what type of resources do you have to make decisions about? What's probably your biggest resource going to be? We've already talked about it.
The communication equipment? Is that what you're talking about?
Well, you can have equipment. It's going to be a resource, right? Equipment. You can have what type of equipment? You're not just going to have. You're not just going to have a big lend-lease safe. What else are you going to have? You're going to have extra security cameras, etc., and someone constantly monitoring for the secondary activities. Okay, the professionals, and they know they're looking for different type of activities that is the setup for a major activity. So you have someone with like the eye in the sky in the casino. They're really professionals. All right, so you have that, and personnel, you have different types. So in some of the other rooms, okay, so that's where you have staff. Okay, so in the one room you're going to have the contract with Wells Fargo or whomever and law enforcement. What can you do in the other rooms?
Loss prevention?
Yeah, let's talk about staffing. What type of that list? You could have. If you have a staff, if you're running a car show, you may not have enough year-round staff to have proprietary, unless you are doing one show a week and you're that big and that specializing process. But you don't need to necessarily do the heavy armed guard in the P. You can protect the cars from being taken out with maybe a couple of law enforcement people, but more of other people to make sure that your people aren't going past the barriers. Okay, so every time you have a car show, they usually have those, those fancy things like they have at the, they're like, it's like rope, but it's velvet rope that keeps you away. It's a high-class barrier, so you can't touch the car and etc. And then you have to make sure there's someone there to enforce people who violate the barriers, because if all you have is that rope, people go right over the rope. If there isn't someone say, "I'm sorry, sir, could you step back, please?" All right, so you have different types of personnel, and then the different types of equipment, okay? Whereas to protect people from being in certain areas where you don't want them, such as the ropes, etc. And then the who and the type, we already talked about that. And the different roles and function, we talked about that. And again, the post and positioning, you would really have to have the site map to say, how many people do you really need based on the hours of the day, you know, how fast do you turn them over, as far as, you know, like on lifeguards cannot work more than 4 hours in a chair, in the same chair, looking over the same pool. Why? People drown if that happens. You usually have to have them change their job and locations. All right, so hopefully that gave you some insight as to what an event, or hospitality event, risk manager is doing with regard to planning for, what's it called? Security and, Robert just said the word, what was the word you said?
Loss prevention, what?
Loss prevention. Loss prevention. Loss prevention security, okay? All right, so what chapter tomorrow?
6.
Chapter, what's more exciting than that? Now we're into the, okay, you really need to nail this, because you're only gonna do a good job in the group project if you nail chapter 6, so go for it.
And woohoo, Stephanie, for getting 100 on your quiz.
All right, Steph, she never does it. All right, where's the drawing?
Here. Hold on. Hold on.
Oh, I have to be here to win. Oh no, you're a new guy. Some excellent books here today. Excellent. So you know the movie Argo? Argo. This is this book has the event in it. Okay, in his diary because it was on his ship. All right, Anthony, still here?
He just left.
John.
Like literally just left.
Susan. How many books do you have?
This is
20?
Hey, I gave
Stephanie.
some really good gifts from books last year.
And Kelly. All right, that's it. Thanks for coming.
Yes, I
Yay.
will take this one.
Here, I'll do it. This is him.
There you go. So you give that to us. You give that to somebody who just had a baby. They'll love you for it.
Now,
What
if
is
we
it?
want to bring in a canine unit, would that be us or just with the law enforcement
Have
side,
you never
just
read that
handle
again?
all that?
Oh.
No, you could contract somebody.
Yeah.
Okay, because you have to have
Oh.
those